Hello, hello, hello everyone, and welcome to another Chainsaw Man reaction. Last week's episode was quite shocking. We have a few manga readers in the comments being, well, manga readers. I don't mean to diss manga readers, I just mean that some pretend to be so la-di-da because, well, they know what happens and you didn't know. And I'm just like, let us have fun, man. Let us make predictions and be wrong. Like, that just proves how great the anime is. But yeah, anyway, thank you guys so much for tuning in and giving a thumbs up if you did, leaving a comment. Please feel free to share your thoughts on the episode. Manga readers are super welcome to give their experience, like, this is what I expected. Maybe the anime surpassed your expectations or under-delivered, but as long as you keep it spoiler-free. Sorry, I just hit the mic. I'm still getting used to it being right here. As long as you keep it spoiler-free, I don't mind. And just let anime viewers, let people that are anime only, have fun and have their experience the way that it evolves, right? So if something happens and it changes later or our opinion might change, just wait until we get there, before you start commenting on how we feel now, but later we might not feel that way. Maybe we will, maybe we won't. But if you start jumping in too early, it could influence how we experience the show, and that might not be what the mangaka intended. So yeah. But all of that aside, I hope you guys are having a good December so far. And I know it can be a difficult time for many, but also a very positive time. Whatever time you're having, give it your best and enjoy anime. Okay, let's jump in. All that from a nail? Why does it feel worse the second time? Wow, like a 10 out of 10 just for the interlude. What do you call this? The music and everything. It definitely, with the visuals, kind of gives me Dorohedoro vibes, which I love. And I'm sorry, but the contrast with the voice acting, brilliant. The music, just Aki's face and the emotion in, so well done. One nail, I mean. What's interesting to me is that that was the first nail. Seems to be. He's kind of similar. I only realized now it's kind of similar to Denji in terms of how his powers work slash what? Or the heart? No, never, ever, ever, ever trust the bad guys to care about their lackeys. Don't do it. Never. He's gonna shoot through that guy into you. He doesn't give a fuck. Holy shit. I expected about as much there. But why is the question. Yo. Okay, so my first assumption slash prediction, which I don't expect to be right, I'm just sharing it with you as my thoughts progress and pop up. My first guess is that she is similar to Power or Denji, and that's why she's in the first place trying to put together this team or been put in charge of the team, or you understand what I'm saying? So she must be some kind of either like Power, like Denji, or something else, but similar. It has to be, because, hello. But how and why and what? And who else knows? Shem, if this is who she just said she wanted, I'm guessing that this is their lost meal, and it does not seem to be very great. Like, for a lost meal. Oh no. Oh no. I imagine... I thought that was just gonna be his head. But the moment he went, like there's something that he hears or sees that no one else can see, I knew, but oh my god, that was worse than I expected. At least it was quick. Is that what she meant with I'll see what I can do from here? Oh. Maybe she has some kind of... If she's not like similar to what Denji is or what Power is, she must have one hell of a contract. Huh? So she's what, basically a light from Death Note as long as she has the name? But in this case, it's not just writing down, she has to sacrifice someone. Oh my god. Splat, splat, splat. I'm curious if it had to be done at the shrine, like what is the meaning behind that? And there is another topic that I'll discuss, but I will do so at the end of the video. I'm guessing this is going to be the moment we find out why people love her. I'm guessing. And I just like to point out this moment would have been a lot more awesome if people had shut up and not wanted to force reactors and anime onlys to like her before the author intended us to, or to be surprised, right? I'm not saying I know what's going to happen, obviously, but this is being built up to be that moment. But now it's not that moment because the way that manga readers behaved about this character made it kind of obvious that, well, there has to be a reason. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, you kind of ruined the moment, but okay. If I'm right, if I'm not right, whatever. Mm. But maybe if it does drive you nuts, you'll have a better chance of surviving. Himeno. I'll try and keep this brief. Imagine going to a party. This is like the first simile I can come up with, but it's probably stupid. But imagine going to a party and then, you know, there's snacks and stuff, but you went to the party early and you had lunch just like an hour or two ago. So you're not hungry yet, but you know you'll eat at some point in the evening. But now there is someone that keeps trying to like eat the crab cakes. You have to try the crab cakes. They're so good. And you're like, no, thank you. I'll have them later. I'm still full from lunch. And they're like, no, really, eat the crab cakes. They're so fucking good. And they're like, no, thank you. And they're like, what the fuck? Do you hate crab cakes? Do you hate this party that I threw for you? What is your problem? These crab cakes are delicious. Eat the damn crab cakes. And they're like sticking it so close up your nose that some of the mayonnaise on top of the crab cakes is getting on your chin. And you're like, bitch, fuck off with the crab cakes. To the point where now, even when you do get hungry, you avoid the damn crab cakes because that bitch was so annoying. That is manga readers with this character. I was like, not even rude about the character. All I said was, I understand her feelings in the situation, but I don't want my favorite character at the moment, Denji, to be killed. So I'm going to be like, no, don't. Please, someone stop her, smack her in the head so she passes out because no, I don't want Denji to die. So I know there were other reactors that were more vocal about not liking her behavior. I can't even imagine the kind of comments they had to get, even though their feelings towards her were also justified. And like, I feel like she's the crab cake. You know what I'm saying? And maybe I would have loved the crab cake when I was hungry and I tasted the crab cake. I would be like, oh my God, this is so good. I want 10 of them. But now the moment was ruined because of the person trying to shove the crab cake up my damn nose. You know what I'm saying? So just a hint to, and it's not all manga readers, but it's the loudest ones. Shut up. And if you see someone doing this kind of shit where they try and shove a crab cake up someone's nose, call them out. Because it ruins people's experience. Like, call it out early so that they know, hey, maybe next time I don't do this. And I don't mean be as rude to them as they are. I'm just saying, like, call them out. Like, hey, don't do this. You're ruining their experience. Delete your comment, please. You're spoiling the experience later or something like that. Oh. I'm a little annoyed because that would have been so surprising and great. And I feel like I would have... It took me, because of people like that, it took me a while longer to warm up to Nami in One Piece. And now she's like my favorite waifu. But like literally, if I had to choose a number one wife, it would be Nami. But it took me like 200 episodes to warm up to her because of the crab cake people. Okay, I'm done ranting now. Except for the non-humans. And as of now, Public Safety Devil Extermination Special Division 4 will be under your command. And then they're shocked. This is another guess moment. But the first thing I think, when something bad happens and as a result someone else gains more control, that to me is just a red flag. It's not like, oh my god, it's not like a giveaway or something, but it's definitely a red flag. If something bad happens and someone gains more control as a result, keep an eye on the person who gained control. That's all I'm saying. The person or the institution. Ask them, who did this pandemic or bad situation benefit the most? And just keep an eye on them. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I barely know where to begin with my thoughts. Okay, I already talked about my Kobeni beef. It's not even with her, but she's not real. So where am I going to direct my frustration? Like, what I mean is, she's not real, so it's not like being angry at her is gonna hurt her feelings, right? And the people who actually made me angry are, like, I don't know their faces. So it's like all my frustration with them is just directed into her character. But to be fair, it's not as bad now as I think it would have been a year ago, because I've kind of come to expect this because of manga readers being this way for a while. Like back during when I just started One Piece like 2.5 years ago, it was really bad and I was really mad at Nami because of the fans frustrating me and I had nowhere else to direct my frustration. But now I've more or less learned how to brush off trolls. Like I'm still working on it, but I don't feel too angry at Kobeni because of them. But I'm still just angry because I feel like a great moment was ruined for me. Okay, but I've already mostly spoken about that. Then I need to look up that snail thing from the opening song. So let me do that really quick. Just kind of like what snail it is or something. Happy Nicholas Day. I'm not sure what that is. I have never heard about it. But if anyone is celebrating, happy. Okay, so where is it? Here it is. World's deadliest.
Hey, I know you've been...
Oh goodness, I hate this kind of... I know you can't really do anything else with ads, but this... Zombie snails, world's deadliest.
A snail has eaten parasites.
This is what is in the...
Into a zombie.
Whoa.
These spectacular, bizarre, bulging eyeballs are an amazing feat of mind control.
Oh, so that obviously has to do with Makima's power over Denji. I won't read the comments because I already see. I know you came from Chainsaw Man's opening. Okay, so it's obviously a reference to that. Very interesting. I didn't know about that existing. Okay, so I just want to look that up. Then the devil contracts thing. I feel like I already said what I wanted to say about that though. But there's a lot of interesting content there to explore as the show continues, because you know how each anime has their power system. In Naruto it's like, what is it called? Chi? No. I'm spacing on the word now, but the chakra. And in, I'm sure they have a thing in Dragon Ball Z. I don't know what it is, but I haven't seen it. I've just seen some episodes of Dragon Ball Z. And then One Piece has the devil fruits and the haki. And yeah, so every anime has like its thing that gives the characters power. And then I guess in this show, it's the contracts with the devils. So we see different. There will obviously be different strengths of devils to have contracts with, different power that they're willing to give you, and but what I like about this, and something that I liked about Hunter x Hunter, for example, is it's not just unlimited power, there will be a drawback, essentially. So if you want this power, you have to have a limitation or something that, I don't know how to explain it, but that's good. And most anime does that to some extent, but with shonen, they don't really do it too well, because you can use this much power, but it will shorten your life, but that doesn't really mean anything. Like you can't prove or disprove that, like, or oh, you can use this amount of power, but then it's like My Hero Academia has a thing where, okay, you can use this amount of power, but then you can only use it 2 or 3 more times, and then your body's done. And then, but you're like, until you see your body's done, it's not really true. I don't know how to explain that. I'm not saying that My Hero Academia does it badly or anything. I'm just saying we don't know if it really shortens your life. We don't know if it really can only be used 2 or 3 more times, until 2 or 3 more times happen, and then we see. But honestly, in My Hero Academia, it's like, you're freaking 14. You can only use this power 2 or 3 more times. What? But please, I don't want to get too much into that, obviously, because I'm not a manga reader, and I don't know what's going to happen. So let's keep it vague, I hope. But yeah, with these devil contracts, there's clear repercussions to using a crazy amount of power. Like, oh, sacrifice your eye, or sacrifice this, or your whole body will do, thank you. And then you're gone. So you can use these crazy amounts of power, but it also depends on the power of the devil and how much they can give you, and how much body you have left to sacrifice. But when you're sacrificing other bodies, and that leads us into the next discussion, which is on the death penalty, which is brought up because it's basically just, the show obviously deals a lot with morals and stuff, and it's not a way to say, okay, this is right or this is wrong. It's a way to bring up the discussion and then explore our opinions and figure out the good and the bad of each opinion. Because, you know, even when you come up with X solution, every solution brings new problems as well. So this is just a way to explore opinions on this topic. So, for example, the death penalty. I think I cannot have an opinion on the death penalty, whether or not it's right or wrong. Like, to me, it doesn't matter, because what comes before that, for me, is the fact that governments, and my government, I'm from South Africa, is extremely corrupt. And as long as corrupt people and corrupt governments exist, I think I don't even want to entertain the idea of a death penalty, because it will be abused. Corrupt people will abuse it, and you cannot take back after you've killed someone. Like, so for me, I understand oh my god, this person has done these list of horrible things. They don't deserve to live the life. I understand the feeling, but I guess first of all, corruption, I don't think putting that rule into place, like we can kill people for these list of bad things, because people will then be framed for those bad things by powerful people who are corrupt, who want those people dead. So I just don't see, people should be given that power, because it will be abused, because corruption is, at least in my country, rampant. So yes, that's just an interesting topic, because these people in the story were given life sentences for what? I don't know. Most likely murder, rape, like the worst crimes that you can get, I guess. Life sentence. I don't know what else you can get the life sentence for, except for those things. I'm sure there are things, I just don't know right now off the top of my head. So I don't want to discuss whether or not these people deserve to die, even though I do think that's an interesting topic. But I don't think that discussion is, to me, relevant or necessary because I don't believe in the death penalty from the get-go, mainly because of the corruption. So I don't think people in the real world should be allowed to do this, but this is obviously not the real world, so let me know your opinion. I don't know Makima and how good or bad she is, but like I said, I don't think in the real world people should have this kind of power because it will be abused. And yes, you can't take back the death because there are people who have been put in prison for life and then afterwards it turns out that they were framed or that something, actually they've always been innocent, you know, injustices, So yeah, you can't take it back then. You can take someone out of prison and be like, whoops, sorry, 20 years later, and then at least they have their life back and they can see their people that they love. And I don't know, you could never make right for putting someone away for 20 years, but at least you didn't kill them. And there are certain ways that you can at least attempt to make it right, but not really. But at least you didn't kill them. You see what I'm trying to say? Whereas with, let's say there's a corrupt government and they kill people and then afterwards realize, oh my god, they were corrupt, they were framing these people to kill off their, you know, adversaries or people who wanted to expose them. Well, they've been killed. That to me seems very bad. So okay, but sorry, I'm rambling. Let me know your thoughts on the matter, because I can definitely also understand that there are just people that have done such horrible things that you cannot imagine why, like, this person doesn't deserve to live after all that they've done. I can understand that feeling, but what is that thing about if you kill a murderer, you make someone else a murderer, so the world isn't really minus one murderer. But then there's other people that argue with that if one person, even if you make one person a murderer for murdering a murderer, like, let's say this person is dedicated, I have to kill all the murderers. 20 murderers this person has killed. So yeah, the world is 20 murderers less, but now there's just one murderer. So some people argue like that and say you can kill bad people and just create one other murderer and still make the world a better place. But that doesn't take into account corruption, once again. And like, this person murdering people can be bought off. You shouldn't. I just personally don't think people should have that power. It just is too dangerous. Like, I know murderers are dangerous, but giving people giving any group of people or person, you may murder people. Even if you say the rule is you may murder murderers, giving someone the right to murder others, it just seems to me in my brain dangerous because corruption, and I am cynical. Okay, but it's a very, very complex topic, and let me know your thoughts on the matter. Okay, so we talked about that. And then probably the most controversial topic that I will discuss and share my opinion on, which I'm even hesitant to mention, but please take into account that I am from South Africa, where it is pretty much maybe top 3, top 5, definitely. Crime capital of the world, and it is a country where gender-based violence is maybe top 3 in the world, rape and all those kinds of things. But the topic of guns and like how the show's main antagonist is a gun devil and people's fear around guns. And my first impression is like, how do you, because what feeds a devil is the fear of something. And remember Harry Potter, where you're not allowed to say the name, but but fear of the name creates, only increases fear of the thing itself. So to me, the solution to defeating the gun devil, because in the real world, guns will always exist in the hands of one or the other. And like here, you can, I was talking to someone the other day about like if I wanted to get a license for a gun, it would take at least a year. But it's so easy to just buy a gun on the black market and buy bullets on the black market. Like a bullet costs R1. I don't even know. That is, R1 is 1/8 of a dollar. It is so cheap to buy guns, to buy bullets, to buy, you know. So my point is just to imagine if like a society, it's difficult to imagine it on large scale, but imagine a small society that from a young age properly trained young girls, young boys how to responsibly carry and wield, I don't know how to say that, firearms, right? And then you have these, in my mind, the reason I would like to get training and get a licensed gun is because whenever you're in our country, when you see the videos of people being robbed and killed, and it's always like this crazy shit with a guy waving a gun and what with a mask, and then I think to myself, imagine if there was one highly skilled person. Like, I'm not saying everyone it should be the Wild West and everyone should shooting each other. Like, there's so much values and things surrounding this. The world is filled with many good people right now, and in the West at least we do kind of okay, right? I mean, in little societies, but every so often, at least in my country, there's crazy people and they hurt others. But now imagine giving every single person, like imagine if everyone was trained and had a gun. There would still be bad people, just like there are now, but there would be more people willing that are equipped to handle it, to fight back. I know this is a controversial topic, and feel free to disagree respectfully. But I feel like some people have this idea that if you give responsible citizens guns, it would make things worse. Like somehow if everyone was armed, we would be shooting at each other all day. But I don't think putting guns in the hands of good people and training them in order to use that would make things worse. The guns are already easy to access in my country. Giving them to good people, training them to use it, decreases that fear of guns. And then that gun devil wouldn't be able to step into my community without losing all its power, because no one fears it, no one feeds it. And I personally would much rather be well prepared and well trained with a gun alone in a room with a rapist than without one. But that's just me in my country with how I feel and my opinions and stuff. So I think it's interesting, the topic and the main antagonist being a gun. In a country that is Japan, right? Tokyo and everything, where guns you're not allowed to carry weapons, or like it makes sense to me that yes, everyone would be shit scared of the gun. But the gun devil originated in America, which is, well, it is the country most well known where people can easily access guns and stuff. But if I'm talking to people that I know from America, it doesn't seem to be the case. Like, there's like some states, like a few, where it's very extreme. But then in the majority of America, it's no one really, it's not like people just walk around with guns all the time. Does that make sense? So, I don't know. It's an interesting main antagonist, and I'm curious to see where they go with it. But I just wanted to share some of my thoughts on the topic of guns. In my country, it's not easy to get a gun. You have to have a license, and it takes a year, depending who you know, I guess. But for the average person, it takes about a year if you don't get it on the black market, which as I said already, is very easy to do. But my opinions are, and I want to emphasize this again, largely framed around the country that I'm from, how corrupt our government is. And please remember that as corrupt as our government is, they are in control of the police, who are the ones mainly allowed to carry guns and stuff. So if our government were ever to decide, like, we want to do this horrible thing and you have to listen to us, no matter what, we couldn't stand up against them. We couldn't say no, because the people are largely unarmed, whereas those in the control of the government, they're armed. I don't know, I understand the fear, but I feel like there's so much more to the topic, and I'm curious to see where the show goes with that. Because, for example, Kobeni was protected from a gun, but then she used the gun to kill the person who was shooting at her, right? And it was the Blade, the devil guy, that took the chainsaw guy down, and all the bad guys had the guns, but they were still like crushed. Okay, but it was through a supernatural power, a crazy supernatural power. But yeah, there is many opinions you can have on this topic, and all of our opinions are shaped by where we live, what the news stories we see most often, people we know, our own experiences. So you are free to discuss, and come up with arguments, counter arguments, solutions, point out the flaws in solutions, because like I said, each solution will, as good as a solution sounds, it will always create a new or a different problem, and it's up to us to decide, is that problem smaller than the main problem we're trying to solve? How will we then tackle that, depending on how big or small it is? And that is how we move forward, is through communication, discussion. And communication is the same thing, but what I mean is debate. Like, you make your point, you make your point, counterpoint, develop, fine tune, and that's how laws are made, and decisions about morals evolve, because things that were right 20 years ago is not necessarily right today, and so on and so on. So yeah, okay, that was a great episode. I want to give it just a 10 out of 10 for the discussions that it, it's, I just 10 out of 10 from me. Visuals perfect, audio perfect, voice acting amazing, themes amazing, but I am very curious to see, like, I'm so invested, because where is it going to go with all of this? Is it going to, because it's one of those shows where Attack on Titan in the very first season was amazing, but I didn't know how amazing it could get. Whereas I think this one, it's amazing even sooner. It was at the, wow. Do you understand what I'm saying? Like, but it can either go, can it go higher than it is at the moment, or it's just going to be one of those that stay here, or could it go there? You don't know. I don't know. So I'm just curious, but I'm invested, so that's a good thing. Okay. Thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time. Bye.